Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm here with Frank Smith, my good friend, Frank Smith.
Better friends this week. Better friends this week.
Because the Canelo fight, I messed up a little bit, but we won't talk about that. Let's talk about tonight then. Devin Haney, Linares. I mean, it looked like Devin was cruising, he was on the jab, but then 9, 10, 11, 12th round, Linares came into it. So, well, how surprised were you at that?
Yeah, look, it was a great fight. Brilliant fight, and he would have learned a lot tonight. Everyone's saying this was the test he needed to show where he was at. He got the win, learned a lot, performed outstandingly, and Linares showed, his quality and his skill. So, yeah, I think people expected it to be a challenge in places for Devin, and which is good because it's learning, it's a learning process for him. So, great night.
We learned that he can take a shot at the end of the 10th round. He got hit with a cracking shot, took it well, went back to his corner. We learned that he can do the 12 rounds. His fitness is there, do you know what I mean? And we learned that he is in a world level, coming up against a 4-time 3-weight world champion. So we've learned a lot about Devin Haney tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, 100%, and that's what we were waiting for ultimately. A lot of people said, he's 22 years old. Who's he fought at this point? But he showed tonight. Got in there against Linares. That was, like I say, his step-up fight. Essentially, he's already defended his world title 3 times now. But great performance and a huge future ahead of him.
Talking about the future, I'm going to ask you, Teofimo Lopez. That's the name that's on everyone's lips. That was the name on Teofimo's lips when I spoke to him last week. Is that the fight? I know Eddie's the man to talk to about making this fight happen, but you are the main man, so to speak, the quiet man in the corner that does all the work, the hardest working man in boxing, Frank Smith. So going forward, it seems like Teofimo wants it. It seems that Devin wants it. Can we see that next?
It's a great fight. It's the fight Teofimo Lopez needs to make him the true undisputed champion. And yeah, 100%. I think we can see it next. I think that's definitely something Devin wants. Devin's never shied away from a fight. So we'll work as hard as we can to make it happen. He's obviously got to fight Cambosis mid-June, hasn't he? So I'm sure he'll come. I think he'll comfortably win that fight. And yeah, it's the fight we should make later in the year, 100%.
It's not Teofimo's fault and it's not Devin Haney's fault, but when the WBC have come up with this, calling Devin Haney the world champion and then saying that Teofimo is undisputed, well, who's the world champion? It's very confusing. So, I mean, it's not their fault. So the only way we can solve this is get them in the ring.
The whole thing's very confusing, isn't it? It's confusing.
Makes sense here?
No. It's confusing for us, and we work in boxing every day in, day out. But like you say, the only way to solve it is for the two of them to fight. And I think it's going to be an intriguing fight. I think both of them have showed skill attributes at such a young age. Like you say, the only way we can really find the undisputed champion is two of them get in the ring.
Who wins?
Devin Haney.
There we go, yeah. Obviously, Eddie's had his say on what's been going on this last week and stuff like that in terms of the arbitration with Wilder, but we haven't heard from you. So what are your thoughts on this whole arbitration thing with Wilder? And it seems like it was the 11th hour. It was almost there. The signature, the contract's almost signed. Like we were all ready for it. 2 British heavyweight champions, undisputed. We were all excited, and then boom, the arbitration hit. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, we couldn't have done any more work. We wanted to fight from day one, 4 or 5 months of work to try and make it happen. We got a site deal that people said we couldn't do. We got everything in place. AJ wanted that fight. Unfortunately, it's not happening. Tyson Fury's got to fight Wilder. Tough fight for him now. The arbitration, I can't really talk on that side of things because we weren't involved in it. But all I can say is that we were told it wouldn't be a problem. But it is what it is. We move on. There's no point. What's the point in looking back at what hasn't happened? Hopefully down the road it can happen. Josh has got a big fight ahead of him now. He's the biggest star in heavyweight boxing. We will come back, sell out a stadium. And they can do Wilder Fury, see who wins that. But Josh carries on. Like I say, he's a superstar. He's going to carry on growing, building, and some big fights ahead of him for Josh. And a big 3, 4, 5 years. I saw an interview with Joby Clayton earlier where he said he's going to become an all-time great, and I believe that. I truly believe that. And I think the big one will happen eventually.
The thing with the big one though is that we need the big one to happen now because Wilder isn't a give me fight for Fury.
It's not.
And it's not. Usyk isn't a give me fight for Joshua. So.
No, but it's not going to happen now. So I just think, what's the point in looking back? Like, we all spent a lot of time, wasted a lot of energy. Hasn't happened. Got to get on with it.
See, you've got the right attitude, man. Imagine if everyone was in boxing was like you, Frank. That we just got to get on with the attitude. Then boxing would be a better place, would it not?
It would. But that's the problem with this sport, isn't it? It's full of,
Say it. Just say it.
Complete arseholes. But no, look. Well, I just think, what is the we can talk about why didn't this happen? Why, for many reasons. It's irrelevant. It's not happening. Maybe it happens down the road. We wanted to make it happen. We did everything we could, and we will continue to do everything we can. We limit, like, it takes two to tango, doesn't it? So AJ will fight anyone. Will do everything in his power to make the fight happen. He did. It's not happening. Oh well, get on with it. Continue building the legacy. Big fights, big nights. We'll continue to do that.
The thing with AJ, Frank, is that he's fulfilled mandatory after mandatory after mandatory. He keeps getting these letters from the sanctioning bodies. Is he annoyed at that? Because it feels like he's been world champion. He's done what he can to fill these mandatories to get into the position to fight for the undisputed, and it's been known he's been wanting to fight for the undisputed 4 or 5 years ago when Wilder had the belt. So, I mean, how frustrated is Anthony Joshua?
It's a balance, isn't it? It's what makes the sport. You need mandatories because ultimately, where are you working towards to get? Otherwise, yeah. But it's it does hinder things sometimes. Because it does make things difficult. Because when you want to make the big fights, and they say no, you got to fight him or you lose a belt. Probably not good for the sport, is it? Ultimately it's not good for the sport if you can't make the big fights because you've got to fight this person. But that's the sport we're in. He will always, he never shies away from a challenge. I think he's got the best resume of any active heavyweight, and he'll continue to take all challenges. He's not, like I say, he's not frustrated. That's the sport he's in. He's probably frustrated that he worked towards, he put his energy towards making the undisputed fight happen, but it hasn't again. So we're on to the next one, whatever that may be.
Usyk White.
That's it. What, Usyk v White?
No, Usyk or White.
Yeah, I mean they're great fights, both great fights. Usyk's a real tough fight. Sorry, his win against Derek Chisora, highly skilled. Has he got the power, the strength, the size for heavyweight? We'll find out. Dillian White would be a great rematch, wouldn't it? We remember what happened in the first one. They both come a long way since then. That was, I think, 12 fights in for AJ, something around that sort of number. So that's a big fight. There's big fights in the US as well. So look, AJ's got options. AJ is the biggest star in the sport, so he could do anything he wants to. He can sell out stadiums. He can do huge numbers. But he, it's all with him now, and we'll have news as soon as we've got news. We'll have it out there.
I want to get a quick word on, since we're talking about undisputed champions, a wee word on Josh Taylor and what he achieved last week.
Yeah, no.
You have to get your water. No, you have it first.
Normally your questions are a bit longer. No, great performance. He looked really good. He proved. A lot of people didn't think he'd do it. So came out here and he got the win against odds of being in Ramirez's home country. Fair play to him. He's now in the powerhouse, undisputed, one of very few. And he did the business, so respect to him. Looked really good in doing it. Well done to Ben Davison as well, who was here tonight.
Is that you or is that Ben?
No, I actually trained Josh for that fight.
People actually confuse you for Ben Davison.
Not a lot of people know, but that's why I had to cut my hair. Every time I cut my hair, Ben cuts his hair. So it's like, is he trying to copy me? Yeah, no, maybe that's what it is.
Newcastle coming up, 1,000 fans. Finally, we get some fans back in the UK. Not bad, but obviously, any news on any more US dates and more dates in the UK?
Yeah, look, we're going to have news. We're working on our schedule now. We've been doing a show almost every week since COVID kicked on. I think we've done something like 36, 38 shows in the last year period. So we're going to announce our schedule very soon, and it's going to be jam-packed all around the world. The global domination continues.
There we go. Well, Frank, as always, it's always a pleasure to speak to you. I'm glad we're on speaking terms again after.
We're always on speaking terms. I always love you. I just like to wind you up.
I know you actually had me nearly. I was heartbroken in Dallas, but as always, thank you so much for doing this IFL TV, and safe flight home, and I'll catch you soon.
Thanks, mate. Get back home to the family. You've been out here for too long.
Honestly, I missed them so much. I can't wait to get back.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you.